The Prophet's Farewell. In the faraway city of Orphalese, there lived a man whose eyes carried the weight of dawn. His name was Al-Mustafa, the Prophet. For 12 long years he had walked the narrow streets of that city, a stranger among people who had once called him their own. They sought his counsel when the heart ached, and his silence when truth was too heavy for words. Yet his gaze always turned toward the sea where his ship, the one that had brought him from the Isle of Birth, had never returned. And then, one morning, as the first breath of light touched the hills, he climbed beyond the walls of Orphalese and saw it, a white sail, rising like a wing of freedom through the mist. The Prophet's heart trembled. He knew the ship had come to take him home. Yet joy and sorrow wrestled within him, for he had grown to love this city that had once feared him. He whispered to the wind, "Shall I leave in peace, or shall my soul linger here, bound to the dust of these streets?" As he descended from the hill, men and women of Orphalese came running to meet him. They had heard the rumor. "The Prophet is leaving." The old, the weary, the young, all gathered around him in silence, their eyes pleading for one last word, one last drop of wisdom before he vanished into the horizon. A woman stepped forward? Almitra, the seeress whose soul had once been the first to recognize him. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "Before you leave us, speak to us once more. Tell us of life, of love, of work and death. Give us truth that will not fade when the sea takes you away." Al-Mustafa looked upon her in the crowd. Their faces were as open books, each line written by joy or sorrow, by birth or by parting. And he said quietly, "You have asked me to speak. And though my heart is a wound of parting, I shall speak, for silence too is a form of speech." On love he said, "When love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. For just as he crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Love is not the giving or the taking, it is the becoming." On work, he said, "Work is love made visible. And when you cannot work with love but only with distaste, it is better that you sit at the gates of the temple and beg alms from those who work with joy." On joy and sorrow he said, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. The deeper sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain." The people listened, and tears glistened upon their cheeks, like pearls born from the sea of understanding. When he had finished speaking, a stillness fell upon Orphalese. Even the wind seemed to pause, as though creation itself had leaned closer to listen. The Prophet turned his eyes once more toward the sea. The ship had drawn nearer, its sails vast as the wings of destiny. He turned to the people and said, "The day is done, and my longing calls me home. Yet even as I leave, I am not gone, for what is spoken in love remains beyond time." As he walked toward the shore, men and women followed, each step echoing with unspoken gratitude. Children clung to his robe, and the old whispered blessings through trembling lips. And when he reached the harbor, he turned one last time to face them. "I go now to the sea of silence, where the soul drinks from the eternal spring. Remember me, not as one who spoke, but as one who listened to your hearts." He stepped aboard the ship. The ropes were loosed, and as the sails filled, the Prophet raised his hand. Not in farewell, but in blessing. The sea shimmered beneath the rising sun, and his voice, carried by the wind, was heard faintly upon the waves. "Farewell, Orphalese. The tide shall bring me again, not in form, but in spirit. For every ending is only the beginning of another silence." And when his ship vanished beyond the horizon, the people stood still, not weeping, not speaking, for something within them had awakened. The Prophet had left the city, but his words remained, etched in the quiet places of their souls.